politics at the European level, and what is her work within the Employment Committee in the European Parliament, and what can be done and should be done to move this forward. This year we also launched at the end of April a white paper on digital skills gap in the European Union, which I brought here for you to read, and I will actually interview on the findings of the white paper at the end of the year. And we worked on this with All Digital and EY, so we have invited here Victoria Sanz from All Digital, who will be briefing you about the DigiCom framework. I don't know how many of you are aware or they know about the DigiCom framework, but it's a tool that has been developed by the European Commission for European citizens to understand what are the digital skills needed in the European Union to thrive in the digital age. So, and after that, you will have hopefully enough tools and indications and guidance to get to work. So we will be splitting you into groups. And I know you all took the digital skills gap quiz, so you should know what is your gap persona. You will be asked to choose your favorite persona and try to work together in the most limited time possible, because we really like these high intensity activities, as Raquel for surely knows. And for you to come together and to come out with some ideas on how to fill the gap. So we have been mapping the gap until now. We know there is a digital skill gap in the EU, but we need to be more concrete in the way forward, right? We need to actually find solutions and develop this gap, because as of 2020, there are still 385,000 vacancies in the European Union that need to be filled with ICT specialists, and there is a gap of 1.8 million because there is a huge mismatch. There are a lot of underqualified people that are actually being hired because there are not enough skills out there within our continent. So we want, in the European Year of Youth, we really want the young people to lead the way, and this will be the first, milestone for us to be working on solutions and activities that will help other people in the European Union developing their skills. So I will now welcome Alicia on stage. Alicia, as I said, you're working in the European Parliament. You have started with the last legislation. So if you could, tell these young people here, how it is to work in the Parliament and what is your work and what opportunities they have.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this event. For me, it's really important to meet with young people and to know their expectations and the way they think. It's quite similar as mine. I'm still considering a young person, so it's really interesting. And well, in the European Parliament, I was elected in the last elections in 2019, and I've been working in the Employment Committee and Social Affairs. And linking it to the digital skills and so on, during the pandemic we have seen this digital gap, how people with less opportunities was not really having the chance to study at schools, something that we can see so simple, but for some families is really complicated to afford these kind of issues. And we have been working from the social part in order to check how can we solve it, because I think that the most important thing that we have learned from the pandemic, is that this existed before. It's not nothing new, that people, some families doesn't have internet or doesn't have even computers at home. But we need to solve this issue because the digital transition is coming. We are already in the digital transition, and we will need a lot of skills, a lot of people, because most of the jobs that are nowadays in the system will be, we are going to lose them, and we are going to change them into new jobs that will have these digital skills, with also the green transition, with the just transition skills. And I think it's really important that we try to create as the number of jobs that are going to be destroyed with these transitions. And in this, I think that the companies need to be aware that we need to, our workers to be reskilled. Also at school level, we need to skill from the kids till university or at every level of learning. It's really important that we give these tools to the people that is studying, because then they will get into the labor market and they will need it 100% for sure, because they will enter into the labor market in some years and the transition will be there. Well, I think that today we are doing a good exercise in order to learn. I mean, for me, it's really important to know your perspective of what can be done better at legislation level in the European Union. I mean, we have worked in many plans. We have the digital education plan that was launched, is from 2021 to till 2027, and is focused on giving this infrastructure, the connectivity, I mean the tools to the people that they need it in order to be able to be in the system and not being taken out or not being left behind. Also, it's important, we have been working in the reinforcement of the Erasmus Plus program. I think you all know the Erasmus program. Also, the Youth Guarantee, that is an excellent opportunity for a first work opportunity. So it's really important that we also focus on the twin transitions in this sense. And also that the Child Guarantee are the three main topics that we are working from the EMPL committee that needs to take into account this digital and green transition. And also, as you may know, we have done the conference on the future of Europe. It was ended the 9th of May. We had more than 300 proposals. 49 of them are focused on youth issues. That's quite good, and most of them are transversal, that are also affecting young people, so it's fine. But there is one that is the introduction of a European certification relating to digital skills in schools, that I think is really relevant, and I think that if we are able to adopt it, it will be good to see it at schools how they work on the digital skills part. There are also economic and the structural reforms that need to be made to achieve all these transitions, and I think that we need to work together. So today I'm here to learn a lot from you, to listen your opinions, to see what you think that is doing in a good way, what has been done, what can be do it better, what can be improved. So yeah, I'm really expecting this activity that you explained, Georgia, and that's it. And thank you very much for inviting me. And if you have any questions, I will be so happy to answer to you.
Thanks, Alicia. I think this is a huge opportunity that you have. It's not every day that you get, a member of the European Parliament eager to listen to you. And I mean, there is like 10 of you today here. So it's really, like a unique occasion that you have to push forward your ideas and solutions. But I don't know how many know what digital skills are. I will take 2 answers, so don't be shy, please. This is really not a day to be shy. So I'm looking at someone who has been working on a policy brief on digital skills for the past month. So, Raquel, you want to say something?
I don't know if I had the exact definition, but I would say basically digital skills are the access to all of these new technologies from everyone that can benefit from them, which is basically all the population. And it can go to a very basic level, what we are trying to achieve with the European policies that are that we're discussing right now, for example, access to internet, knowing how to write an email, knowing how to contact the institutions through the internet and stuff. And the idea, as you said, as the digital transformation is transforming everything to increase that level of digital skills into a point where we are actually we have like a very, very, very good level in digital skills, because it's going to be like crucial and super necessary in the future.
Very good. So for that, we actually invited Victoria from All Digital to give us, like a brief overview on what the Digicom framework released by the European Commission. Yes, please take here. Defines as digital skills in the EU.
Good morning, and thank you very much. Thank you, Georgia. Thank you. It's really great to hear from what the institutions are saying. I'm here to speak about what is the DigiCom framework. And before that, I will introduce myself. I'm Victoria Sanz. I'm Communications Officer at All Digital, and I'm a Clancy creator. If you took the test, maybe some of you know who I am. Very briefly, I'd like to present our organization. All Digital brings together 74 member organizations that form together one of the major European communities in the field of digital skills. The focus areas of All Digital are identified together with our members, building on strategy priorities and future aims. We mainly work on basic digital skills, employability, and entrepreneurship, among many others. I'm aware of the time constraints, but I will be happy to further develop this later, and I invite you to check our website if you really want to know more about All Digital. But today we're here because over 90% of the jobs already require some level of digital skills. Speed collaborative economy, robotization, AI services, and the pandemic has accelerated this trend in all sectors. So as a result, some of the jobs will disappear, some other tasks in several jobs will change, and new other jobs opportunity will appear. However, the transition will bring new job opportunities, but as Georgia has explained, not all these job opportunities are covered because people have insufficient level of digital skills. And it is imperative that all workers and learners are equipped with the necessary digital skills. For that, the European Commission, the Joint Research Centre, has developed the DigiCom framework, which has been updated this March as DigiCom 2.2. And for those who are not familiar with what is the DigiCom framework, I will briefly present it from the basics, and I will be able to provide you further materials after my presentation for you to review exactly how to read it and how to use it. The DigiCom framework identifies the key components of digital competences in 5 areas, which I can summarize as information and data literacy, communication and collaboration, digital content creation, safety, and problem solving. At All Digital, we believe that the DigiCom plays a central role in achieving our objectives of filling the gap. It has already provided a common understanding across the EU of what digital competencies are, and therefore provided a basis for framing digital skills and policy. Many member states and regions in Europe have used it already to frame digital skills policy for curriculum development and for assessment of digital competencies in education or labor market context. And even beyond the EU, organizations like UNESCO are using DigiCom also in other countries. So the use of DigiCom has been increased lately these years. It is true that, as I said, the COVID pandemic has clearly shown the importance of digital education for the digital transformation that Europe needs. It emphasized the increased need to develop digital skills for all levels in any field. The digital skills gap is now one of the main actions of the European Commission and also for All Digital, and is focused in all its policies, initiatives, and programs. The DigiComp, just for you to know, it was first launched by the European Commission in 2013. Therefore, it has been updated year by year with new transformation with it. Has become a key reference tool for the development and understanding of digital skills in Europe and beyond. The framework offers an open source resource for describing digital skills in a holistic way, and it has served as inspiration for policymakers, teachers, trainers, HR professionals, and employers for almost a decade. The DigiCom underpins the connected elements of the European ecosystem of digital skills, including the Digital Skills and Jobs Coalition. I don't know if you heard about ESCO or Digital Skills Certificate. In this way, DigiCom provides to both educational institutions and citizens a valuable tool to map, show, translate, and be aware of the level of competency gained through educational activities across Europe and beyond. A complementary to that, and to launch the white paper, Huawei and All Digital and EY have developed the digital skills gap to map. And it's a we could say that this may be a shorter version of the Digicom to have a first approach and see what are we lacking in our terms of digital skills. But when we talk briefly, what does it mean for citizens, the Digicom framework, and how can it be used? Here in the slides, I bring some examples. This is a screenshot of how to read it and which parts that this Digicom example, I will maybe later show you a bit more. But first, I would like to really explain what it does mean for citizens and how can it be used. So it operates in a common ground of understanding, learning centers, citizens, policymakers, and institutions in general. And All Digital recently has established a working relationship with the DG JRC. The JRC is the Joint Research Center at the European Commission. And together we've worked with the European Commission to update the Digicomp, and the last update was launched in March 2022. All Digital has actively supported the use of Digicomp among 2,000 digital competence centers, and it represents and believes that more systematic use of and support for Digicomp can enable a coherent and effective approach to the development of digital skills in Europe. And I think once you will be able to open it. I will send you a QR code at the end of the presentation so you can open the Digicomp. But at the same time, I would like to invite you to see the launch of the Digicomp Update 2.2, which is the last version of the Digicomp, and it was launched in March 2022. I have a full video for you in case you want further material. There is a presentation made by the Joint Research Center and my organization all together. And it really explains what has changed and what is the update in the Digicomp framework, and I believe it will help you to further understand how to read it. Here there are some examples on what is the Digicomp and what is not, and I will be able to share also these materials for you. And as I said, this is the QR code. In the small one is the one for you to read the last version of the Digicomp 2.2. And the big QR code is for you to have access to the full video and explanation with further details to the Digicom 2.2, as I'm really aware of the time constraint today, and I would like to give you the floor to provide solutions on how to use it. But I really encourage you to please take these two links and further explore. And if you have any questions and you would like to know more about the Digicom framework, don't hesitate to reach me out. This is our video and this is my contact information, and I will be able to put you in touch with my colleagues and also with the Joint Research Center for the Commission for further information on this. Thank you very much for inviting me here today.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Victoria. So you see, I mean, I don't know how many of you are aware with the tools that the European Union puts, at disposal of its citizens. But, sometimes there is a gap between what's happening at national level and what's happening at EU level. So it's important that we come together and, we have this kind of debate. So as we mentioned, there was a white paper on digital skills accompanied by this campaign on mapping the gap. I understand you all took the quiz. So I will ask you all, what was your persona? So you can go one by one. You can start if you want.
I should start saying that I'm actually studying automation engineering, so not to brag, but I think that my digital persona is a little above the average. Therefore, I should also say that digital skill gap is also a thing in the STEM and engineering field, because we, as aspiring engineers, are able to program and use very complex applications on our PCs, but sometimes we cannot use the basic ones. I meet a lot of fellow students and colleagues who struggle with PowerPoint or Microsoft Word or Excel, and it's absurd. I mean, we do a lot of complex things and cannot do the basic ones. I think that a lot of effort should be put on the communication and collaboration tools that we all have, but do not use at full potential.
So when you took the quiz, what was the final, what was the results that you got?
I think I got Exposure protector, yeah.
Okay, interesting. If you can pass.
Hello. So, about me, I study a master in artificial intelligence. So, like again, as you mentioned, I think many of us are like about the average on like digital skills probably, but also I think like we have to show like these digital skills to like everybody, because I think that when we start, for example, when we have to decide what we want to study, we don't see this future and like what's the reality out there. It's more like, what do you like? So go for it. But the reality out there is very different. So I think it's really important to show to young people like how the future will look like if you choose this career, and also very important to empower women in that. And yeah, I don't know. That's all, I think. Oh, yeah, the same.
Expose protector.
Expose protector.
Interesting for an AI student.
So, hi, I did a master's as well in AI, and I got as well Exposed Protector. But I clearly remember that there were some questions related to security. And in the section, there was like this mention about the fact that I should pose more attention on security. And I realized that indeed, for example, the password stuff, all those kind of stuff, it's something that I lack. Like I kind of use the same password for everything. So I think it was interesting as a test because it made me notice even more like how we should be also aware of the risks of going towards a more digitalized world. So, Expose Protector, by the way.
Hi, Oskar Berenguer, also computer science student in Iceland. I'm afraid I never got the link to this quiz, even though I very much would have loved to take it, so I have not much to say.
You can, absolutely.
I can do it now?
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
So perhaps you can, no pressure.
Hi, my name is George. I'm electrical computer engineer student, and I'm going to pursue my PhD in brain-computer interaction. I am also a teacher for programming in teenagers, so I understand the importance of digital skills in nowadays. The thing that I always say to my students is that in the past, we had two important things to be, a complete person in the workforce. That was, to know how to read and to know how to speak, let's say. Right now, we have three things. First thing, speak, read, and handle a personal computer. If you don't have one of these three things, then you cannot survive in the modern world. About the digital skills gap quiz, I think, I don't remember exactly, but either I got silent communicator, either lost investigator. I don't remember. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Dennis, and I study international relations, so basically a little bit far away from that. And from what I recall, I might have gotten a clumsy creator, but like I know, I know about the whole data protection thing, and like the most vulnerable part of it, like where is, as it was already mentioned, like where you have to get like different passwords, for example. It's like the basics, and you know how it should be done, but still like you're kind of a little bit lazy with that, even though like the data protection systems right now, they are pretty much good, but still like even though you can trace all of the changes, even the slightest in the system, but still like digital literacy is pretty much important for everybody, like in every kind of sphere. And I know myself that like from different spheres that I used to work in, basically that data protection is important, and I'm pretty much glad that it's getting more attention, like this kind of problem. Even like when I used to work in like different European companies, it's getting a bigger attention from this, and this is very important. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to see what we've got like for these courses as well. Want to get more literate in this sense.
So hi, I'm Raquel, and I'm now also from the IT field. I'm studying business administration and law, so I also got clumsy creator when I took the test. And the thing is, I believe I'm a clumsy creator because I was never taught all of these things in school, never. And at least they could have these lessons at university, but basically everything that I learned it on my own completely, because I understood that teachers were at the same level as me in terms of like I'm growing with technology, but technology has disrupted their lives completely, so they cannot teach you, but I need to learn. So I'm disprotected in the internet and all of these things just because I didn't learn it in school. And I understand completely that most kids nowadays, or most children nowadays, don't know how to like navigate through this digital world because of the same thing.
Behind you.
So my name is Redve. I'm a second-year computer engineering student. I got the clumsy creator one. Well, the thing is, like with Pass, I think it was because I don't really use different passwords for different sites. I think that it should be highlighted, and there are a lot of good tools to like use, like password managers, for example, and always like using two-step authentication also as well. I think it's really important, and I feel like this should be highlighted more, as basically we're shifting into a digital era where all of our lives are on the digital platforms and everything. We have online banking, and we basically have our life on the internet now. So yeah, it should be highlighted more.
So hi, my name is Vamsi, and I'm doing my master's, second-year master's in communication system. So I got exposed protector. So as from the quiz that was interesting, and from the quiz I got to know that I manage a different password for different websites and all, and I save all of them on my PC, and I don't know how safe is that. So so yes, coming to the digital era, it's really great to see everything based on the internet. Like recently I lost my wallet, so I blocked everything online. So I blocked everything online. So this is one of the example of a digital era, and yes, exciting to see what comes next. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ben Neguzaki. I'm from a student representation body in Hungary, and I got the disconnected programmer as a result. I'm trying to be as conscious as possible, but I know that it's hard, and mainly I fail also in the passwords because I use the same passwords. Why I came here is to see good practices from other countries, how you can educate society, especially students, because I completely agree with that currently youth and students, they are not truly conscious about their data and their digital skills. So yeah, they can play computer games, especially young boys, but they are not really conscious. They cannot make a presentation. They find it hard to Google things like this. So that's why I'm looking for good practices, but we can channel to students how they can perform better in the digital world. Thanks.
You took the quiz, right? No, you took the quiz, right?
Yeah, sorry.
So fast.
So at the end, I also got exposed protector. I guess that makes sense.
He's computer scientist, huh?
Very much indeed. I'm now starting an internship in a cybersecurity company, so I will probably be able to have a bit of a bigger insight, and I very much look forward to getting some techniques into it.
Okay, great. I think that was a very nice exercise to understand, also the background of everyone based on the DigiCom framework. As I said, now it's up to you to actually propose solutions on how we fill that gap that you have, that we all have. I'm a clumsy creator. She's a clumsy creator. Alicia, you don't know yet.
Maybe a confused problem solver.
But, I would say like A, B, A, B, A, B. You form your two groups, please. I will give you the description of the personas, and you will have very limited time to think, brainstorm and think about a solution that you think, would be good to fill the gap of one. Of course, we don't have the time, unfortunately, to do it for all. But as I mentioned, this is the first step for something that we want to create, a toolkit, not the usual website with like set of tools and resources, but we're trying to come out with really, like a youth-led toolkit for people across Europe to develop their digital skills. So we want to hear from you your inputs, and this will be used as the foundation for a continuous work until the end of the year, when we hope to launch this toolkit based on the framework. And you will be invited. In every occasion, we will continue developing this toolkit to provide your feedback to our work. In the end, it's true, we are the practitioners here. We come from the industry, from the policy making, from international organizations, and so on. So we have a responsibility to develop digital skills, but it seems that we are not either doing enough or we are not doing it properly. So we hope that you will want to stay engaged after this workshop and involved to provide us with your feedback on what you think is right. So I will get now, please divide in group, as I said, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. So you find your person, so you're a bit more mixed. No? So A, okay, stand up. A, 1, 2, 3, A, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to be A as well? Yes. So A, you stand up and you move on one side. There are flip charts, so I guess I'm brainstorming. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, no. Yes. And then you're B? Yes, I see. I was looking at gender imbalances, but. So you're B. So there are flip charts here because I'm sure like in your brainstorming session somebody will have some ideas. And what's the time? Can somebody?
10:15.
10:15. Okay, you basically have half an hour to really, like high intensity brainstorming. I'll give you now the personas. So you can choose.
Yep. So you.
Okay, this is for you. This is for B. As I said, you choose one gap, and you think of what could be done to fill that gap. We are here. We are here for you. If you have any doubts on what we are asking of you, and what are the skills, what you can just come to the three of us, and of course we have like a different background, all of us, but we can be of help.
They're going to sit here or outside?
No, they can sit here and then they can use the flip chart.
Yes, I understood that we have to provide solutions to fill one of the gaps for one data persona.
Do you need any help?
Yes, because I think
I'm looking for my phone.
In my opinion, the two that would be more worth will be country creation and skills protector because it's like what the majority of people have. But maybe you can reply to.
Also, that the other group, they don't choose both the same persona, right? Or
No, actually, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
so you choose. Is this yours?
Okay, we can put it here. From the comms team, it's only me.
Very dedicated team member.
Five minutes left. 1 minute. Time is up. Are you ready, guys? You need more time to wrap up?
No, we're done.
Oh, you're done. Okay. You guys done? Fantastic. So, I'm not even going to go back on stage because the stage is going to be yours. So, Team A goes first. Of course, you have to select, your spokesperson. Who the spokesperson is. And you will have basically, it's 15 minutes, 5 minutes max to present your ideas. Okay, then you're doing it there, fine. And then Alicia, Victoria, and myself will be sort of evaluating. I mean, it's okay, they're doing it there, so we go back on our stage. Perhaps the mic?
Okay, we chose the disconnected programmer, and we have to take in consideration a few things before we understand what are the ideas and the solutions that we are giving to him or to her. So this person doesn't know how to code, so he basically knows how to do basic stuff on the internet. He knows how to look for information. He knows how to do PowerPoints. He knows how to store information correctly, but he doesn't know how to code and more specific technical things regarding the computing world. But the positive thing is that he wants to learn. He's willing to learn how to code. So these are the solutions that we have provided for him or her.
So we spend a lot of time focusing on possible ideas and possible starting points for a solution. The ideas were proposing a gamifying approach to the learning experience. We thought about already existing learning platforms like Coursera and Udemy, and they're good, but they might be a little bit scary for a person without a technical background. So the gamified approach, like you see on Duolingo, for example, is really good because you can hide the learning by proposing a game. And we thought about an escape room game. You know escape rooms? And okay, great. So we could propose about coding an escape room to enter a fake website. Like you should brainstorm yourself to put the right piece of code in the right place, or put the right piece of password, a strong one instead of a weak one. We also thought that that might be a little bit boring for experienced people, and we thought about them. So the difficulty will be progressive. and will scale with your technical skills you develop during the path. Also, we thought about the marketing, and we agree on that we should stress it a lot on schools and educational institutions, because many people just goes on growing and they say, oh no, I'm too old to learn new skills. That's not true, and we should teach them that they can always learn new skills, both at old age and young age. And we also gonna provide scholarship somehow. That is the solution, though.
So yes, our final solution would be to create a web-based platform with this gamified approach, in which, of course, there is not only the challenge, but also some knowledge to acquire, otherwise it makes no sense. We think it would be feasible because it's something that you can do once and then maintain. And this could be like a platform with an increasing difficulty for whatever level we have or whatever programming language we want to learn. We thought about proposing this in a yearly European context, or maybe like a context as we joined with Huawei, so something in which you have an incentive to do and to join. And we thought that it would be important to have a proper school dissemination, as we cannot take for granted that everybody has a computer. So it would be nice to have like this extra credit course in which you just join the competition and maybe might win, I don't know, joining a conference or whatever. So thanks for the attention.
We will provide feedback at the end so that there is no biases. So team B can go up next.
Okay, hello everybody. We're going to present our idea and how we want to shorten the gap between different generations. We're all going to say some parts, some bits of the information about it. So like the main thing is lifelong education, lifelong learning. And we've got the Clumsy Creator, is the most popular one. So it's going to be for the majority of people. It's going to be useful. So what's the main problem basically when we are talking about those gaps in digital literacy is generations. First of all, let's concentrate on this one. So there is a huge gap between generations, like the younger generation and the older generation. So for now, we're talking about this. And well, the problem is when we meet older people, they usually are not very keen to learn on how to use those digital devices or just like different apps, etc. So for that exact reason, one of our solutions is study centers. Study centers, this kind of idea is already being implemented, for example, in Ukraine with the help of Huawei as well. So basically, those are study centers for people who can go there if they're not familiar with technologies that they can use, online banking or how to pay electricity bills. They go there and they basically learn all of those basics in those study centers. It's especially useful for people who have no digital devices or like pretty much developed digital devices. So in those study centers, also people provide them with tools, opportunities like that they can use there. So it's pretty much useful there as well. Talking about younger generation, how do we resolve those issues with younger generations? Because we all know that when we were in school or in universities, just like we already found out, not that many schools, not that many institutions offer programs in which people get literacy in digital fields. So in this case, we just simply suggest by providing more courses. So there will be some basic courses in schools where people will learn those digital skills from the very young age. Those courses can be provided, like, for example, by third-party companies that would go especially there, like to foster those young talents, their skills about that. And also some courses in universities. So basically, like, this lifelong learning, right, with this kind of idea. So then we've also got a little bit more information for the content creators, basically about user-friendly apps or digital products, which we would like to discuss as well. So,
Okay, I can. So I think we need to approach the technical skills to the main population and the other way around, so that both can be together and they are in the same page, so that programmers understand how to build things in a user interactive way, and that people learn more about this and get interested, because it's very important that people are interested about this. Also, one point that we wanted to focus to was to, okay, so lectures are interesting, so it's interesting to hear about some interesting topic. For example, AI or like security issues. But it's very important to know that in technical things, you need to interact, you need to do it yourself to learn how to do it, because hearing about security is nothing if you don't see how to do it, and if you don't see it yourself. You want to say something?
Tell about workshops first.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can add that. Okay. So, yeah, we didn't say how we do that, so we are gonna do that in a form of, oh, sorry, I was just in the middle. in the form of workshops, not just that much on a lecture form. So it has to be for students, but basically for all the population. Also, teachers need that, because like you realize when you're in high school that teachers don't know how to do, like they don't know, they know less than we do. So that's an important thing. Yeah, now.
So mostly digital skills are lacked by the older generation people. So two things are there. Either they don't know how to use it, and they don't want to know it. So there might be, because they never used it. So sometimes also they don't want to use it. So we have to tell them, like explain them in a different manner how this can happen. So so giving the willpower, or some interactive programs on the TV channels where they can see where they can where they can't see the complexity, but in a simple manner they can learn about it. For example, there are so many programs like the Shark Tank, or where they can see about the startups, how startups work. So in the same manner, we can tell them about the digital skills, like how this digital era is, not what programming languages we want to implement or learn this programming language or something, but what all the digital skills are are being implemented. We can tell them about it. And one more thing, I found my wallet, and with the help of the digital era. And with the help of digital era, I can again activate my card and go shopping again. So, yes. So you can complete it.
Yeah, so basically we conducted this experiment with a wallet beforehand in order to demonstrate everybody that digital skills are important. Yeah, so we've got the main points is lifelong education with study centers for older generations, courses which can be transformed into workshops for younger generations, and, well, to pay more attention of how those digital products are being created, so to make them user-friendly, to make them accessible to everybody. So those are our 3 main points, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So I see we are extremely short on time, so we basically have 1 minute each, literally, to provide some feedback. I will go first, if you don't mind. I mean, so for Team A, I really like the idea. I love gamification, so I mean, you really, had my attention there. I'd like to know, perhaps we can discuss it, out of this room, but how you actually came up with the idea. If it's something relatable to you, if it's something that you would like to do, and this is why you're proposing, to young people to use these tools, and how you chose your persona. Especially, this is a comment that came after Team B explained why they chose the Clumsy creator. And if you see, indeed, there are not many disconnected programmers out there, and we've noticed that more senior people have, they get this gap persona as a result of the quiz, rather than the younger generation. So that would be interesting to know. For Team B, I really like the point on helping teachers, educating teachers, because I think that's like a huge gap we have. One thing is, I think even though you chose the Clumsy creator, you focused a lot on digital skills and education at large, rather than like the key gaps of the Clumsy creator persona. So it would be good to like narrow down and put more emphasis on how to increase those communication skills and digital communication and marketing skills, because indeed this is actually the result that most young people get, which is interesting because we should be better at using, through social media we learn how to use different tools, but it seems that it's our biggest gap. So, yeah, Mike.
Well, I have I don't know if it's working or not. Is it working? No, okay, I take this one. When I was working with Team A, they came with really great ideas, I have to say. But I think that the disconnected programmer maybe is one of the less voted ones, but the most vulnerable people would be in this group, because they would like to improve their knowledge on digital skills, but they don't have the chance to do it. So if they talked about financing, I helped them a bit with the business plan, but I think it's really important that you also do it in a pedagogic way. That's why the escape room idea, it was a really good idea. And for also teaching from school, it would be easier for people to also for the youngest generations to get engaged into digital skills since they are kids. So I think it's something that also young people, the most young ones, would be in this group of people. So I think it's really interesting that you have chosen this one. And from the other one, I have seen that you have talked about the generational gap, but there is also another gap that is really important, that is the gender gap in the digital era. We were talking with Georgia before entering into the room, and I think is something that needs to be there, because women have more problems when we are in the digital world. So I think it's really important also to have this in mind. The lifelong learning point is crucial for this, because this technology is always improving and improving, so we need to be in the day-to-day of this. And I see a shared point that is on the courses. There you see it in a game, but this game can be in a company to help the workers to improve their knowledge. So I think it's a shared idea that is really interesting. So I have learned a lot from you, and I think I can learn even more. So thank you for your work, and it was really, really useful for me.
Well, and lastly, just to wrap up, I would like to thank you all for bringing up these ideas and for connecting the disconnection that we have between the young people and general users, and to the institutions and in the industry, and also for international organizations, because these ideas will shape our work in the future and our future steps. So thank you very much. Just to point out everything that's already been said, I really liked you adjusting to your target group, in this case, the disconnected programmer, and adapting a methodology that includes gamification, that includes innovation, and that you are taking a different approach from the traditional way of education, which is great. So congratulations for that. And here I really believe, and I really agree on meet halfway from the users with low digital skills, with people with high digital skills as IT people, and meet them halfway by creating user-friendly apps that can be intuitive. So the IT people or the high-skilled people in digital skills can have a better understanding on what is the struggles for low-skilled people. So I think there is a really big point that I have not heard before, and congratulations for coming up with that, and congratulations to you all for your initiatives, and thank you very much for being here today.
Indeed, thank you very much. We have to leave the room quickly, right? Escape the room.
Yes.